motherfucking trailer.
Hello, what's up? We're here again. Boy, these I don't know if I can handle these week-long waits for streams. Not used to this. We used to do 5 days a week. I don't know if I can keep that going. We'll have to see. What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday night. Yes, should be a fun one tonight. I got a lot of things to discuss before we get started. Yes. Let's check the meme cam. Are we working today, meme cam? Looks good. Looks good. All right. We're firing on all cylinders. New change. I know. I just changed the schedule like 3 weeks ago. Oh, thank you, Adam. All right. Happy Friday night, everybody. We are inching closer and closer to the eventual date. Okay, I hope everybody ate their Wheaties tonight. I'm a little concerned. I was watching chat before we officially started, and I saw a debate about the weight of Kong and the weight of Godzilla, and I wanted to chime in. Who gives a shit? Who cares? When it's all said and done, are you really going to care about their weight? Honestly. Who gives a shit? I don't. I mean, really.
Adolphonica just subscribed. Damn, 15 months sub. Happy Friday, Rob. I hope your family are doing well.
We are doing well. All right. And Runk the Funk with the upgrade on the membership on the nation. We got a subscriber over on Twitch. I'm feeling the love. I love this. I'm loving the love. True Robert Godzilla is heavier. I don't care. I don't care. Maybe he is. Who knows? I mean, for all we know, his tail could be heavier than Kong. It doesn't matter. All right? It doesn't matter. When I get into that theater, I'm not going to ask them to weigh. I don't want to see a weigh-in, okay? This is not the kind of fight where we care about the weight. Let's be real here. All right. Thank you, Runk the Funk, for upgrading. I appreciate that. And speaking of which, since we're on that topic, wow, 15 months Aldophonic over on Twitch, man. Much love there. Woo. For those who for the Baron Twitch. I mean, they're loyal over there. They're loyal over on Twitch, boy. Everybody's on YouTube, but Twitch is like, we're gonna chill here. We're gonna represent. So I appreciate that love. All right, Rob, do you have a video of that amazing stream intro? I'm not gonna lie, I'd watch it over and over. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I do. I can't put it up on YouTube permanently. It does get a copyright claim every time I use it because it is AC/DC. So it doesn't mean it's not a strike. I take the hit. I don't, it's all good. If it's for the purposes of entertainment, I do it no problem. So. All right, a couple of things before we get started. Speaking of membership, I just want to release the member exclusive schedule coming to February. So let me pull up my calendar here because I've been planning this. First thing I want to say is next Thursday, we are going to have a live stream. This stream is going to be in the vein of something I used to do every Thursday. For those of you who've been here for a while, we're going to do a Fringe entertainment stream next Thursday. We're going to have a guest. If you've been to Fat Samurai Guy's channel when he has streamed or I've streamed with him, Jax B is going to be here next Thursday. We're going to talk some paranormal, spiritual, and even a little bit of alien stuff next Thursday. It's going to be really good. We've been talking on and off this whole week, and she's been sharing information, and I think you guys really get a kick at it. Bring your skepticism. It's more than welcome. All right. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you guys know who Jax B is, then you know she's really cool, really awesome. And she's going to be here next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to have a great 2-hour podcast type of show where we're going to talk about these things. Obviously, we'll take questions and chat and super chats and things like that. So definitely chime in, get involved. This should be a lot of fun. In terms of next month, we have a member exclusive live stream and a member exclusive watch party. Okay, those are also going to take place on Thursday. So, and then we have a member guest that's going to be on the live stream at the end of February, because every month there will be a member that has an opportunity to be a guest on the show for a 20-minute segment with me to discuss their topic, their entertainment related topic for 20 minutes. So we will be doing a raffle for that in the middle of the month of February. And I want to say February 18th, we're going to do members only live stream. That's on a Thursday night. No. Nope.
Will you ever play with Ouija board online again?
It didn't really work. Don't you remember? That didn't work. It was ridiculous. It was so stupid. Why would you like? All right. I'm just gonna ignore the fact that maybe Acno's immune to Wheaties. I'm just gonna maybe accept that. So maybe Wheaties just doesn't work for him. Maybe you need some, I don't know, shredded wheat or something. So how do you become a member? There is a join button at the bottom. There are 3 tiers. These 2 events that I'm talking about are for mid and last tier. The watch party and the guest live streams are if you're a 3rd tier, which is Gods of the Nation, which is what Runk the Funk just signed up for or upgraded to. And so we're gonna have the 18th is going to be the members only live stream. We're going to do that Sunday the members only watch party. All right, that's going to be Godzilla 2014. And then at the end of the month, which I'm going to say the last Friday of the month, which is the 26th, we'll have a guest on the live stream for a 20-minute segment to discuss whatever entertainment-related topic only on the stream. So that should be a lot of fun. So I kind of wanted to give that schedule out. If you want to support the channel, you can do so in many ways. Subscribe, like, share the videos are always a big help. But also, if you want to continue to help the channel in other ways, you can become a member. It's $3.99 for the lowest tier a month, $6.99 for the mid tier a month, and then $9.99 for the final tier. So
it's Friday night. We are 54 fucking days away. Fuck COVID. Fuck 2020. Fuck the banners. Fuck the CCXP bullshit. Fuck the oil leaks and Sayaka's jerk circles. It's Godzilla versus Kong.
Wow.
Nothing else matters.
Somebody's.
Boy, choo choo.
Wow.
Yeah, fuck you, WB.
Oh wow. We're starting off on fire today. We're just on fire, completely on fire. All right, now we're gonna get into this. Okay, so for those who are veterans, I have done this. This is like a tradition here on the channel where I will basically do, kind of do like a little storytelling of how I would do Join or You'll Be Hakai'd. Oh yeah, also if you do become a member, you get, all right, everybody has access to the Discord, of course, but if you're a member, there are member only exclusive chat rooms. And then also if you're a member, you have exclusive access to me whenever I'm on Discord, and I'm on there pretty regularly. So that's another perk, and that's at the 1st tier. So I really got to get that video out. I haven't finished it yet. I know it's been a busy week. It's been a lot going on this week. It's been fun though. All right, so what was I saying? All right, so this is how I usually do this. So I am working on one that is a little bit more grounded in terms of plot. This one that I'm going to do tonight is going to be completely based off. It's going to be completely based off the Mechagodzilla is disguised theory. I'm going to be doing this one off the cuff, no notes, no nothing.
Big Bad Wolf super chatted $5. Is Acno immune to Wheaties, or do they just not agree with him like how he usually doesn't agree with us?
It could be that too. It could be that. Or it could just be he's astral projecting so he can't eat Wheaties. Yeah, Discord. Definitely join Discord. If one of you members can drop a link in there, Omni, Mr. L, because I know you guys are, I know you guys are also moderators. So the way this works is I'm just gonna shoot off the cuff. I'm gonna give you a beginning and an ending. This one is not scripted at all. The other one I've been working on is a little bit more cleaner. This is just gonna be right off. I try to use the trailer as a source for building my vision. So, I might take certain aspects of the trailer and just implement them because it might make it easier for me. But basically, I just tell the story beginning to end of how I would do this movie, and that's it. And like I said, I fly off the cuff. Now, remember, this is how I would do it. So there may be things I'm talking about. You're going to be like, oh, but that's not going to be in the movie. I understand that. I just want to make that very clear. It's not that I'm not aware. It's not that I'm not doing this verbatim to what I think the movie is. This is my vision. This is how I would do it if it were up to me. If I was the director, if I was a storyteller, this is how I would do it. So yeah, we're going to get started. And this one is going to be based off my theory that everybody loves. It is the greatest theory ever known. Everyone supports it. Everyone believes in it. Everyone, everyone loves it. Everyone believes in it, and I know they're gonna love it. So that's that. All right. Okay, here we go. The movie opens with. While the opening credits are happening, we see Ren Serizawa. We see like a montage of footage, and you can tell by the way it's filmed that it's happening over time. So like, there could be one shot you see him working in his lab, another shot you see him frustrated, slamming papers down, trying to figure things out, and you get the early idea that this is him developing something, working on a project. We would know that this project would be, of course, Mechagodzilla. Once that montage is done, the scene opens, the official scene, not the montage. We get into the scene now. And right off the bat, he's in his lab, doors open, in walks, is it Jonah Allen or Alan Jonah? Jonah Allen, I think it is. He walks in and he talks to Ren. He's like, still working on this, huh? And then Ren responds, I can't seem to get any breakthroughs. And then he says, well, I think I have something that might help. Cut the scene. Jonah Hill. Joey Guzman's ass. Cut the scene. We go to Skull Island. And when we get to Skull Island, we have Brooks, who's there, who's played by Joe Martin in King of the Monsters. And we learn in this scene that Brooks, for the most part, has spent a lot of his time on Skull Island. We did see him in King of the Monsters, so we're made aware that he doesn't spend all his time there, but he is the one leading all the experimentation, all the studying of Skull Island, learning about the Hollow Earth, the creatures, things of that nature. During this scene, he gets notified by another Monarch employee from not on the island, like on the mainland, that the kaiju, or rather the Titans, are beginning to converge, and that he's warning him, he's letting him know, listen, we don't know where they're coming from. They could be coming from the Hollow Earth. They could be coming from the ocean, but I just want to warn you, things there might get a little bit crazy. So right as that happens, we start seeing one creature come up. This one's unrecognizable. It's a brand new Titan, and he gets on the island. Monarch sees this, and then they start checking their radar, Titan radar, if you want to call it, and they start seeing at least several other monsters. Not a lot, not all of them, but like 2 or 3 other monsters along with this one. So let's say 4 monsters. And then we cut to a scene where we see Behemoth coming out of the water, and Behemoth is just stomping, boom, boom, and gets to the island. And they're not causing any trouble. They're just kind of getting there. We see different shots of them traveling through the terrain.
Akno's left hand's tipped $1. Yeah, well, a lot of things don't matter when it comes to Akno. But it'd be nice if Hand Lotion agreed with him because he beats that shit out of me so much. You think the guy says I am sorry once in a while? Nope, nothing. Empty promise like his girlfriend. Oink.
Aldofonica, the other day, just so you know, over on Twitch, I did set it to. It wasn't set on my program, so I did set it. It should work theoretically. So if you want to give it like a dollar test, before you, that way you don't. I don't want to feel bad if you drop like $10 and then it doesn't work. I'll feel bad. Well, that's right. I forgot. It's like minimum $5. Otherwise, people would go ham with it. So, it should work, but that thing is kind of quirky. So with See the Titans on Skull Island, they aren't causing any craziness. They're not acting crazy. They're kind of like, for lack of a better term, they're settling in. So we go back to the Monarch base, and there's like a Monarch grunt. What do you think is going to happen that they're here? And then Brooks is like, I don't know how he's going to take it. And he's referring to Kong. Then we shoot to a scene of Kong. He's, sitting down. He's eating, sugarcane, a giant sugarcane. I always see him eating sticks, so I don't know if it's like sugarcane. Let's just say he's eating. And he's eating, and he stops, and he starts pondering, like he's looking around. He notices, he senses something's off. And then he starts to get up, and he starts to kind of run out. And then we cut, we see a shot of Kong, much bigger, running through the forest. He's past the forest now, and he hits like the coast of the island where Behemoth landed, and he sees the footsteps, like Behemoth's footsteps coming on land and going further inland. So he starts tracking Behemoth, and giant bamboo. Thank you. I'm like, I don't know, giant sugarcane. So he starts tracking Behemoth, and as he tracks, he gets to him. Behemoth is at a pond drinking fresh water. He's giant. And Kong starts like breathing heavy, and then Behemoth kind of like turns slowly. And when he sees Kong, Behemoth lets out this big roar, and nothing we've ever heard before, because we really didn't get a chance to really hear him roar. And Kong roars really loud and starts beating his chest. Not now. My son loves to creep over when I'm in the middle of talking, and it kind of throws me off, so I have to stop him in his tracks. Not now. So, so Kong beats his chest, and he just picks up this boulder by him, and he throws it at Behemoth, and Behemoth kind of like chucks he hits the rock with his tusk, and the rock shatters. And then Kong is like snarling, so he's kind of testing. Behemoth begins to lift his feet and pound them on the floor one after the other. They're kind of sizing each other up. So then finally Kong beats his chest and charges at Behemoth, and then Behemoth charges at him, and then they clash, and Kong's got him like trying to get him in a headlock, but also holding his tusk, and Behemoth is kind of like, moving like this, trying to get him off. So then finally Behemoth tosses Kong off, and then he starts charging at Kong. Kong is like laid on the floor, and then he like drills his tusk, but like Kong's like this, and the tusk go like this into like a big like concrete wall, and then they do a close-up of Behemoth, and he's like growling at Kong, and Kong is snarling at him, and then Kong like lifts his arms up in between the tusk, and then does a double head axe handle on his head and backs Behemoth off. So then Kong gets up, and then he starts wailing, like he starts punching him underneath, like in between the tusk, like where his mouth is. He starts just yoking him. So then finally he climbs on top of Behemoth, and he starts pounding on his back, and then he grabs his tusk and he tries to get leverage on him, and then he's got like the end of the tusk, and he jumps off his back, and then just cracks the tusk, and then he impales Behemoth on the back of his body. Just done. Just slays out Behemoth, and then he stands with one foot on Behemoth's back, and he just he does his thing. All right. So that's my opening sequence of like the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes of the movie. We're not done yet, but I got to take, I got to get a little, I'm a little parched. Poor Behemoth. It's not easy to me to think of him that way, but, it's Godzilla versus Kong, man. It's not Godzilla versus Behemoth. F in the chat for Behemoth. Oh my God. All right, real quick. Come here. What did you want to say, buddy? During my little intermission after my opening.
Guys, I wanted to show you something that I made it today, so let me go grab it.
You couldn't grab it while I was waiting for you this whole time? All right, quick, go. This kid. You wish Kong would fight Rodan? Yeah. I that was the original opening of I tried doing this a year and a half ago when we knew nothing of the movie. So that was my original opening, so I'm kind of sticking with it. So, you know, trying to have some consistency here. A lot of people would be heated if that happened. They'll get over it. That's what you want to do, though. You want to drive emotion in a movie, whether it's good or bad emotion. At the end of the day, they really want to see Godzilla fight. You know, they don't. They think they want to see Behemoth, but they want to see Godzilla, and that's what it really comes down to. All right. Oh, you want to show something too?
Well, this is just Olin, so.
You're showing his.
Yeah, because he needed help.
Because he's got two of them. Okay, show that one. Go ahead.
So here's one of them. Look at that's a dead Triceratops, and that's like a little pterodactyl. Don't say it looks like Rodan. It's not copyrighted.
What? What did you just say?
Copyright?
You don't have to worry about copyright, but okay, it's a pterodactyl.
Yep.
Copyright means like either like it's a copy of music that is just like.
Oh my God, this kid.
And then
I
you
don't know how to
got
explain it.
this one.
Okay, and what's that one?
It has a T-Rex with a little volcano and a little like mountain. And
It's inspired by my creation that they made for my class.
hold on, let me go get that one.
Olin.
Okay. All right. Can we remove these from here?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
No. Well, this is mine.
That's yours? Okay. That's her landscape. When the hell did my stream become show and tell? All right. All right. Okay, time for bed. Goodbye. Thank you. I'm sure everybody loved it. Everybody here loves you, I hope. I know they do. I know you guys do. They're cute. It's hard not to like. Okay. Let's continue on. All right. So Kong takes out Behemoth. Kong takes out Behemoth. Now, I know that I want to make this very clear. This, like I said, this is my version of this. So this is going to be very different than what we think is going to happen in the movie. Now, what Kong doesn't know is that taking out Behemoth was a bit of a mistake. So as Kong travels the island, getting rid of these intruders, other Titans, well, he's upset the order. And as we see, things start to go a little sideways here. So Kong, after about a week of battles, getting rid of Titans, he gets another visitor. In this scene, Godzilla arrives on Skull Island. And it is deduced by Monarch that Godzilla is upset and sees Kong as a threat now because Kong has killed Titans, which is, you know, even though they're not officially like the underlings of God. I mean, he's the king of the monsters. So to some extent, when you're king, and this is my definition, again, when you're king, you got to take care of your people, so to speak. Behemoth is not happy about my writing.
I am Behemoth, tip $1. Hey Rob, first time, long time. I hate to tell you this, but I ain't angry, so you can go eat a dick, brah. Mic drop.
All right. Behemoth's not happy with me. I'm sorry, Behemoth. I didn't mean for it to go down like that. So, all right. Godzilla arrives on Skull Island. And this time, Kong's reaction is not as intense as it was before. Like, he's not scared, but he knows he kind of fucked up. So, back at the Monarch base, they start preparing to evacuate. They know it's going to go down. Brooks is acknowledging to some of the other employees. Now, mind you, we haven't met the other characters yet. I haven't forgotten about them. We're just not there yet. This is Brooks. I wanted Brooks to be a big part of the story. I don't know if he's going to be, but one of the underlings asked Brooks, what do you think is going to happen here? And he's like, this is Kong's land. He was just protecting it. But those are Titans, and Godzilla protects the order in this world, something along those lines. And we're going to have there's a conflict of interest. That's the best term I could use for Brooks explaining that this is going down because there were two things that happened that they both reacted to naturally. So Godzilla comes inland, Kong comes to where Godzilla arrives, and there's a long stare down. It's dark. Sorry, guys. I have to have a night scene because when I imagine this, I imagine it's dark. There's a storm, no rain, just lightning. You can see the lightning flashing behind Godzilla as he stands and just kind of you see him breathing. You can see the breath coming out of his mouth. You see Kong there. Kong starts going like this, punching his fists together. Uh-oh, Warner Brothers. Did I do something wrong, Warner? Did I do something wrong?
Warner Brothers tipped $3.33. Behemoth, you had no trouble being killed by Kong when we shot the movie. You even begged Kong to keep shoving your tusk further up your ass. Rob's idea is more tame.
That's good. So finally, you see now Godzilla starts flaring his back. You can see the flashing. And then every time it flashes, you see a better shot of him. And he slowly starts walking forward into vision, so to speak, into the light. Let's call it like that. It's not actual light, but he walks forward to the point where you can see him. And as he gets to the point where you can see him, he bellows back, and then he lets out this loud roar that echoes over all of Skull Island. And then Kong like puts his chest up. After going like this, he starts beating his chest and he roars really loud. And then Godzilla, you can see his back lighting up. You can see him setting it up, and Kong's like looking at him puzzled, and Godzilla lets out this large atomic blast that hits Kong's center chest. He goes flying back, and he's laying on the ground, and he's in obvious pain, and he's kind of looking at his chest like he can't believe it, he's never experienced anything like that before. As he's in shock and also very hurt, before he knows it, Godzilla's right up on him. And as Godzilla approaches, he does a quick turn, and all you see is his tail in the air, and he slams his tail down, but Kong barely gets out of the way, turns out of the way, and gets up and immediately jumps on Godzilla's back and starts like pounding on his back. Godzilla's like, roaring, not like the roar in pain, but almost like he's annoyed. So then Godzilla kind of just like shrugs him off, and Kong lands on his feet. Then Godzilla starts to like do another tail whip, and then Kong kind of dodges this one, like he actually backs up. Godzilla misses. Kong quickly jumps up like a small, not I don't want to say a small mountain, but it's almost like a hill. For them, it's a hill. For us, it'd be a mountain. And then from there, he grabs like this tree branch, and he fucking jumps down and he clubs Godzilla right on the head with it.
Kong tipped $1. Rob, I will not take Behemoth's tusk and stab him. I will shove it up his ass. I will make an example of him toward Godzilla. Fuck him in the ass.
So he cracks Godzilla right over the head with the tree. Godzilla falls down, and then quickly Kong jumps on Godzilla and like literally starts doing ground and pound. He starts pounding on him, and Godzilla's like, you know what I mean? Finally, he grabs Godzilla by the lower jaw and the upper mouth, and he starts to try and pry his mouth open. And then we get a close-up of Godzilla's face, and then you see Godzilla's eyes flash, and then you see you can see like the glowing of his dorsal plates while he's on the floor, and then you hear the vroom, 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 and then like it comes out, and then he like, it almost looks like he swallows it, and then like a small nuclear pulse goes along his body and kind of burns every part of Kong that's touching him or shocks him, and Kong falls back. And then Kong is on the floor, and then Godzilla finally gets that tail shot in. He starts pounding and pounding on Kong's chest with his tail. And as he hits him, every time he hits him harder and harder, literally can see Kong going further, like almost into the ground, almost like it. I don't want to make it sound like he's being shoved in, but you could almost see the ground shake, and then it looks like just by half an inch at a time with each hit, you could see Kong going like into the earth, like he's pounding him hard. Finally, he stops and he looks down at Kong, and Kong is kind of laid out. And then Godzilla starts walking like a little bit away, and then he lets out a huge roar, and then he like bellows hard, and then suddenly you hear vroom, vroom, vroom. But this time when it starts glowing up his back, it's starting to turn red. And then it looks like he's about to give the finishing blow to Kong, but he quickly turned and he literally torches the whole forest. Like he just incinerates everything surrounding Kong. And then he takes off into the water. And then back at the Monarch base, they're like in shock. You know, they're in shock of the brutality of the fight, things like that. And you can see Brooks looking at the monitor, like sweating and scared. And he's like, a warning. And basically implying that this was Godzilla's way of telling him, don't fuck up again. Don't do that again. Well, you know, I'm gonna, it's kind of like what Superman did to Batman. It's like, just, you know, forget the bat. It's no more. Consider this mercy type thing. So Kong is laid out. He's laid out. Godzilla disappears into the water. Brooks reports this back to the mainland. This is where we see Mark Russell. And Mark Russell's on the phone with Brooks. And he's like, do you think this is something that's going to carry on? Do you think this is going to continue? And Brooks is like, as much as we've learned about these Titans, I just don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. You know, these two, while they personally don't have a history, these two species have a history of battle and war. I'd be a fool to tell you that nothing's going to come of this. So they get off the phone. Madison Russell walks in and she's, you know, frustrated and things like that. She's having a hard time at school. She's suffering from PTSD because of what happened to King of the Monsters. So even though Mark is trying to be there for her like he wasn't before, he's still very much involved with Monarch and helping out with the whole Titan thing. So, and she's just going through some struggles in school, meeting new people. She doesn't like the fact that they have to move around. They've moved like twice in the last year since the events of King of the Monsters. And so they have a little exchange, and you know, their relationship is still very strong, especially because of what happened to the mother. So we kind of get some of that. We get a little you kind of get caught up with these two characters. I don't want to go into too much detail. I kind of want to just kind of jump around, give you guys a gist of what's going on. So at this point, we go to our two new characters whose names I forget at this moment. So I'm going to have to let's take a quick 2-minute intermission where I can pull this up, and then we'll continue from there. So allow me to, that way we can get, I can get this right, the right way. Here we go. Now remember, this is, with the exception of some of the fight between the monsters, this is all off the cuff. The last time I did this for Godzilla vs. Kong, I did mainly the monster stuff. I didn't do like a whole narrative. You know what I mean? All right. So this time, all right. So Nathan Lind and Eileen Andrews. Now, just so you know, remember, I'm not forgetting a character like Jaya. She's not in my vision. So she's not in my vision. In fact, I don't even get into the whole, you know, the pygmies of Skull Island. All right. So, okay. So Eileen Andrews and Nathan Lind. So we get to Nathan Lind. He's laying in bed. It's in the morning. He gets a phone call from Eileen. I got to remember that. Eileen. And she explains to him what happened. She talked to Brooks, and you know, he's getting out of bed. He's kind of rusty. You know, he's grabbing a coffee. He's like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" He switches on the TV while he's getting his coffee, and while he's in a conversation with her, then you hear on the news, breaking news: Godzilla has made landfall in Florida, and he's attacking the city. And then Nathan drops his mug, and he looks over and he sees like a helicopter shot of Godzilla attacking the city, and the helicopter's like, "We can't believe this, and the first time since we've ever seen this creature that he has deliberately attacked the city and have been hurting people." And as they're talking and shooting it in the helicopter, you see Godzilla's face turn to their camera, and then you see a beam come out, and then boom, cuts the feed. Obviously, he shot the helicopter out of the sky, a la many other movies. I like to do my callbacks too. And then Nathan quickly gets dressed and he takes off, and boom, boom, boom. So we get a full scene of Godzilla laying waste to, let's go with Pensacola, since we got that in the trailer. Let's go with that. I was gonna do something like Orlando or some, bigger, but he just got off the coast. Let's say Pensacola. He's no factories, nothing. This is a city. He is there. He is destroying the city. He's laying waste, and it's brutal. Like my vision is brutal. Like as he knocks buildings down, you literally see people falling from the building, from the top all the way hitting the pavement. That's just how I know. Call me morbid. So a full-scale attack on the city, not only utilizing his atomic breath to take down taller buildings, but obviously smaller buildings. He's just rummaging right through it. The destruction is insane. So finally we cut from this scene, and now we have Brooks, Mark, Eileen, all having a discussion about what's going on, okay? At this point, they think that something's gone wrong. Maybe by the Titans getting killed is throwing him off. Whatever the case may be, for some reason, Godzilla's attacking. They have a big conversation about how a way that they can find a solution to this. The solution is they come up with the idea to maybe bring Kong into the fray. Mark Russell's completely against this. He's not having it. He's like, listen, the last thing we need is 2 more Titans fighting on the mainland, causing destruction, people getting hurt. Godzilla obviously is something's wrong there. And to bring Kong into the mix, these two hate each other. They just had a brutal fight, And Nathan and Eileen don't seem to find another solution. Now Eileen and Nathan, they decide to go to Skull Island with a team to try and find a way to come up with a way to get Kong to the mainland. So when they arrive, Brooks is there. He tells them, I think I've come up with a solution. All the while, Nathan takes a little walk off by himself, gets on the phone and talking to someone anonymous, and he says, I think it's here. I think we can get it. That's all he says. So they start to think of a way to sedate Kong. And Brooks tells him about a berry on the island that he believes has these kinds of effects. And if they can manage to get enough of this, they believe they can use it to not only draw Kong, but that if he drinks it if he consumes it at a high dose, that he will be sedated long enough where they can bring him onto the large aircraft carrier. So, or oil rig or whatever. I say aircraft carrier because that's on my head when I see it. So they find, and yes, this is my way of bringing in the berry into my vision. All the while, what we didn't learn earlier is that the egg that was hinted at in King of the Monsters is indeed a Mothra egg, and it is being protected by Monarch on Skull Island. And they believe that it has the potential to hatch. And Nathan, we find out at this point, is working for Apex, and he is there to lead Apex to the egg because they have some nefarious things they want to use the egg for. Seeing what Mothra did for Godzilla and King of the Monsters, they believe that there's a power they can harness from Mothra for their own means. We don't know what it is yet. So once they start going into the mission of sedating Kong, they manage to collect enough of these berries over the course of a couple of days to make what they believe is enough of the juice to not only draw Kong, but also have him drink it and then get sedated. It's a little cheesy, of course, but I can't help to just want that element. So there's really no other way I can tell it other than just to say they're pretty much going to do what they did in the older movie. If I was filming it, I would just make it look prettier and more as realistic as possible. So while they're doing this, Kong is drawn, and he does start to drink the juice. He normally drinks this in this story. He normally does drink it, but at a higher consumption, it will knock him out. So while this is happening, a little covert op team arrives on Skull Island, and while that team is distracted, everybody's distracted by trying to get control of Kong. They managed to sneak into, I don't want to say a facility. The egg was actually kept near the facility, but on mainland. They wanted to keep it in natural habitat after what happened to the first egg in the first movie with, almost people getting hurt and them keeping it concealed. But it was guarded. These forces come in, they take out the guards. It's basically a covert op. The egg, while it is large, it is not large enough for it to be a problem for them to quietly get it on water and literally drag it with many, many different boats. So at this point, Monarch is none the wiser to what's going on because they're so focused on Kong. They manage to sedate him, to get him on a large ship to bring him to the mainland. At this point, Monarch finally does realize what has happened. The egg is missing, and during their travel on sea, they find out where the cameras, basically, that's what I wanted to get at. They found out, based on footage of who stole it, they find out that Nathan's a traitor. And they find out that the egg is being taken on ocean. It's being literally dragged on top of the ocean by a series of boats. And they try to figure out their coordinates based on whatever footage they have. While they're on their travels to the mainland, they find a blip on their radar and they go to the blip and they realize they can see in the distance the egg, and they're going after the egg, and they have Kong with them. It's at this point that Godzilla arrives and kind of throws a monkey wrench into everything because nobody knows why he's there. Is he there to protect Mothra, the Mothra egg? Is he there to go after Kong? And then this is kind of where I want to peel from the trailer, and we see Godzilla plow through the aircraft carrier that belongs to Monarch and their whole fleet, and then picture big fight with Kong and Godzilla as you would in the trailer. Apex gets away with the egg. Second battle between Kong versus Godzilla, only this time, while Kong loses again, it's not nearly as one-sided the fight. Kong basically had the best of Godzilla until they got into the water. Godzilla slips away, Kong makes it out alive, and then Monarch with their remaining ships, Kong now understanding what's going on, what they're trying to do, stays with Monarch, and they go on. We finally get back to Apex and Ren Serizawa. They deliver the egg to Ren, and Ren says, I finally have what I believe to be the final piece to what I need. And basically he tries to stimulate the egg to hatch. The egg is not ready to hatch, but he tries to stimulate the egg to hatch. So he starts putting devices in it, and he starts, all these gadgets to try and get it to hatch. We visit back to Monarch, and Eileen is talking to Brooks and Russell, and she explains, I don't know what they would need the egg for. I can't possibly know. Finally, we see, what's her name again? We see Dr. Chen, and Dr. Chen is just learning that the eggs disappeared, and Eileen, nobody knows what they're going to do with the egg. All they know is that Apex is bad, and they know that Apex doesn't have any good plans for the eggs. Dr. Chen, learning this, looks very concerned, very emotional, very disappointed. She feels it. And she actually contacts her sister, the other Dr. Chen, who's, I don't remember her first name. I know this Dr. Chen is Eileen. I don't remember the first name of the other one. But the twins from King of the Monsters, you guys know who we're talking about. And she calls her sister. She explained to her what's happening. And then she returns to Brooks, Russell, and Eileen. Excuse me. Oh, there's two Eileens. Look at that. They're both Eileens. Isn't that amazing? Let's say Dr. Andrews. And she tells that party, look, I need to return to the egg's last location. And she knows her sister. Her other sister's always been working with Brooks. They worked together when Mothra hatched in King of the Monsters. And she tells Brooks, I need to get back there. I need to get to the egg. And Brooks is like, but I don't understand why. She says, no, you don't. I need to get back to the egg. And she was like, if I got to go alone, I understand. Just give me a boat and I'll go by myself. And then Brooks is like, well, I'm not going to let you go by yourself. He sends her with some men. She takes off back to Skull Island to the last location of the egg and to meet with her sister that was still at the lab there. Okay. We go back to the mainland, and Hong Kong has been sieged by Godzilla. Godzilla arrives in Hong Kong. He starts laying waste to Hong Kong. All those beautiful neon lights. I'm implementing this from the trailer now. All the beautiful neon lights the city's just being destroyed. It's being laid to waste. Godzilla's doing the same thing he did in Florida, and things are going buck wild. Suddenly, as he's laying waste, we start hearing, some of the military in Hong Kong talking about we have potentially another Titan arriving on Hong Kong, in the city, and boom, out of the shadows comes Godzilla. And then you see two Godzillas standing, and then you see like literally people, not around the world, but all the people we've been following up to this point, Monarch, the Russells, and this and that, they're all like, they're all just staring at the screen in disbelief. And then you hear Mark Russell say, I know Dr. Serizawa has always told us that there have been other Godzillas within the race and this and that at some point during, but we had no indication. We traveled the world. We've been to the Hollow Earth. We had no indication that there would ever be a second Godzilla. So everybody's sitting there watching, and you see these two Godzillas looking at each other. And then there's this one Godzilla is just standing, staring at the other one. And then the other Godzilla starts charging up his beam. Vroom, 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 vroom. Whap, whap, just eviscerates the other one. And then you see, I'm sorry, I have to. You see a charge come up, and then you hear a Junkie XL version of bam 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 bam. All right, sorry, I had to get cheesy there. I had to. I'm sorry. It's my vision. And then this is the big reveal of Mechagodzilla. The only difference is this is going to be a crazy battle. During this time, we go back to Apex, and we learn that Ren Serizawa, he's there with some of his cronies, and he's explaining that what he used the Ghidorah head for. He used the Ghidorah head to obviously not only conceal Mechagodzilla, but also use him as a source for autonomy so he could be autonomous. But what he also wanted to do was harness the power of Mothra to insert into the Mechagodzilla, because Mechagodzilla is also organic. He's also, there's parts of him that, because of the regenerative ability of Ghidorah, there's parts of him internally that are organic. We learned that he did siphon the bones of the Dagon monster, and he basically built like a Frankenstein. He combined the bones with the DNA of Ghidorah, and it's just crazy. Like, everything inside of Mecha, it's almost like a shell within a shell, because he has organics inside of him. He has bones inside of him, but he's got the craft. He's almost like Wolverine. He's got like his cover, the old robot thing, is like grafted onto the bone, and everything inside of him is organic. And Ren Serizawa wanted to use Mothra's egg to harness the power that he knows exists and insert it into Mechagodzilla, because he believes that if he was able to do that, then he would pretty much have the most powerful Titan / mech in the world. And it wouldn't only be for destroying Titans, but also building a technology, the evil thing. It's not exactly original, I know, but let's roll with it. This is still off the cuff here. So the two Chen sisters finally meet up on Skull Island, and they go to the last location of the egg. They hold hands and they close their eyes and they start singing. So they start singing, the Mothra song. They start going to try and prevent and pray to Mothra not to hatch, to hold on longer. So they're sitting there, but it's very, very eclectic. It's not traditional. It's more like, not necessarily really music. They're praying, they're harmonizing. So they're doing that. Godzilla and Mechagodzilla are fighting on the mainland, and Godzilla's getting utterly destroyed. Like he's just getting, he's getting wrecked. Then finally, Monarch's still in, they're still in the ocean. They're almost in the mainland, but they're still in the ocean. But suddenly Kong gets up and he kind of senses something's off. So then Kong, boom, jumps in the water and literally starts swimming to the mainland. He's like, these ships are too slow. I'm swimming. So he, after a while, he arrives on the mainland and he sees what's going on. And he kind of can't believe his eyes, but he knows that, and for the record, that was the real Godzilla that fought him on Skull Island, just so you know. That whole red thing wasn't like a hint of me. That was the real Godzilla. But it was the fake Godzilla that attacked in the water. So Godzilla gets to the mainland and he's not getting involved right away. He's kind of watching to see what happens. But he sees that there's a Godzilla and then there's a Mechagodzilla. And he's just kind of like studying, it's almost like he's studying. Like he's going closer to them, but he's studying. And finally, when he arrives, when he finally gets to them, he lets out a big roar. And then he grabs like this big metal beam from one of the buildings, and he runs up to Mechagodzilla and cracks him in the head. And then it just breaks, and then you see the Mechagodzilla head turn around, just the head, not the body, just the head turns around, and he just shoots Kong with a beam, and Kong goes flying back. So a little old school there. So then Mechagodzilla sees that he's got two combatants. So classic, Mechagodzilla keeps his head turned on Kong, but he loads his weapons at Godzilla, and both monsters roar, and Mechagodzilla starts unleashing his weaponry. Kong is literally going in between remaining buildings, dodging everything, while Godzilla is literally tanking the shots. Now, these two are not necessarily like, yeah, let's work together. This is just happening organically. It's not even really that they're teaming up. It just so happens that Kong was smart enough to figure out that Mechagodzilla was a bigger threat, and Godzilla has no clue what's going on exactly because he was getting his ass handed to him. So Kong is dodging this and that, and Mechagodzilla is just laying waste, trying to shoot at both these monsters. Then finally Kong sees an opening, and he's on top of like one of the remaining buildings, and he leaps down at Mechagodzilla, and then he just kind of turns and does this epic drop kick just to use his sheer weight to try and knock him over. And then he finally does manage to knock him over, like after the kick. And then at this point, he's standing, and then he kind of peers at Godzilla. Godzilla's on his feet looking battered, and he peers back at Kong. And then Kong charges him. Kong goes after him, and they start going at it again. And Kong sees an opportunity to get rid of the king of the monsters because he's weakened and battered. So boom, goes right after him. They start fighting it out. Mechagodzilla finally gets to his feet and starts launching missiles at them. And then right as that happens, like Kong's the faster one, and he kind of sees it coming. So he like does a standing drop kick to Godzilla, so to speak. But you don't know if he did it to hit him or to push him out of the way of the missiles. So then they both kind of like look at each other, and then they turn to Mechagodzilla, and then Kong like just starts getting ready. And this is where you kind of get the idea that they're like, all right, we can hash out our differences after we take this motherfucker out. So they go after Mechagodzilla. Kong goes right after him. Godzilla starts to charge up an atomic breath, and Kong kind of circles around Mechagodzilla and tries to hold him. And Kong is like holding him for the shot. Godzilla unleashes the atomic breath, but Mechagodzilla does like a charge, electrifies Kong to let him loose. Kong gets let loose, like Mechagodzilla gets away, and then the atomic blast hits Kong and sends him flying. Oh man, I'm like seeing this picture in my head. I'm like, this is crazy. So Godzilla doesn't even look concerned. He stops and he charges up again, but this time he hits Mechagodzilla, and he kind of shorts him out a little bit. And then Kong kind of gets up, he looks at his chest, he's like scarred to all hell. Like his chest is like, you watch wrestling, you ever seen when Daniel Bryan takes chops to the chest and it gets all red and looks like ground meat? Yeah, that's what he looks like right now. It's just ground meat on his chest. So finally, Godzilla, after getting that shot on Mechagodzilla, you start seeing him breathe, but as he's taking a breath, you see him like, he starts to like glow. You know what I mean? Not glow like his whole body, but his dorsal plate starts to glow, his eyes start to glow. It's almost like he's powering up. Meanwhile, we get back and we still see that the twins are trying to continue to pray that Mothra doesn't hatch. All the while, Mark Russell heads with a team to Apex to try and stop them, while the doctor, so that's kind of where we see playing out. Mark Russell, a squad, heads out to Apex to try and stop them and Ren Sarazawa from harming the egg. All the while, the Chen sisters are trying to keep the egg intact, keep the Mothra larva from hatching, so that Ren doesn't get the power that he needs to give, like, Mechagodzilla his final boost. So then, go back to the fight. Godzilla's like fully charged, and now Mechagodzilla starts laying weapons on him, and Godzilla's completely impervious at this point. He's just, now this is a solo Godzilla power up. No power of Mothra, no crazy anything else. This is like his last resort. You know what I mean? Like he is digging deep inside to get this fight over with. So, excuse me. So all the weapons now are completely impervious. It's almost like in the 74 movie, he almost like puts a shield on him. And you see all these weapons either getting deterred, that he's just tanking the shit out of them. Kong starts getting up. He's like holding his chest. He sees what's happening. And then you see Godzilla's back start lighting up like a bright reddish orange. And you see his eyes turn red. No, this is far from what's going to happen in the movie.
The real say Yaka super chatted $5. Rob, you trying to take my job. You just spoiled the whole movie.
We're almost done. I know, I've been going for a while here. It's already 9 o'clock. So he lets out this mega spiral breath that just completely doesn't destroy Mechagodzilla, but completely shuts him down. And then Kong comes up from behind Mechagodzilla. He takes him by the jaws, and he basically rips open the jaw, manages to get it open, and then underneath, instead of that dome head you saw in the old movie, it's literally like Ghidorah's head with like combination of wire and regrown veins going down.
Tipped $1. I am really enjoying this. Sounds like a masterpiece.
We're not done yet. So finally, Kong rips the mouth open, reveals not the dome that we saw back in 74, but it's literally the Ghidorah head with all like these wires and tubes and shit. And then he just takes that one and he rips that mouth open, and this one finishes off King Ghidorah. Finally, we get to Apex facility. The Monarch team lands there. They work their way in. They stop Sarazawa, and they save the Mothra egg. The twins can feel that sense that the Mothra egg is safe. They're happy. And then finally, they're like, I think this is over. It seems like they've settled their differences. Mechagodzilla is destroyed. And then we shoot back to the city. It's like dawn now. It's been a grueling fight. Godzilla and Kong are kind of looking at each other. And then finally, we see Godzilla start vroom, 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 and then Kong roars and just punches Godzilla. And then Godzilla falls back a little bit, and then he roars back and he tail whips Kong across like a couple of yards. Like, no, I shouldn't say a couple, but for their size, many yards. And the battle ensues, and there's people watching like, this isn't over? Like, people are shocked that they're going after each other. Night, sweetie. Night, buddy. Night. So then the fight ensues. They're continuing going. They're going at it. So finally, they're fighting. They're going. I mean, I'm talking blow for blow. Like, even Godzilla's throwing little arm punches, but because Kong is trying to get in close, he's actually landing them. He starts biting Kong on his shoulders, and he's roaring. and then Kong starts biting him back, and you see blood, and it's just brutal. They're just going at each other. Kong is like double axe handing him on the top of the head, and then Kong jumps on his back and he bites off one of the dorsal plates, and then Godzilla just screams, but then turns around and bites one of fucking Kong's fingers off. I'm talking like this is getting nasty because they're both so worn down, and Godzilla's used a lot of his powers. He's got to go down to brute force now. This is like very primal battle, very just crazy battle. And finally, after such a long, grueling fight, they're both going at it back and forth. And then finally, they're both exhausted. They're laid out. And then finally, Godzilla just gets up and he looks at Kong and he starts roaring, and they're just not done yet. So finally, there's one more grueling, short battle. They're just biting this and that. And then finally, Godzilla just pins Kong to the floor, and he steps on his chest, a la what he did to the female Muto and what he did to King Ghidorah. And he starts charging up, and Kong's having trouble getting out of it as Godzilla's pressing his foot down on his chest, and he's going to give him the finishing blow. And then he reels back, and then he unleashes an atomic breath. But at the last minute, Kong manages to get from under his foot, and as Godzilla is shooting his atomic breath literally at the floor, Kong comes and just gives him a hard punch to the face, lays him out. Then finally Kong grabs a huge piece of this building, and he starts wailing it on Godzilla. As he's on the floor, you see Godzilla start being all bloody. And then after that, he kind of looks down at Godzilla, and Godzilla looks out of it. He tosses the rock, and he starts walking back towards the water. Godzilla's laid out. And then Kong stops. He's just battered and bruised. And he looks up, and he's looking at the sun, and, the Kong face, the Kong face. And then as that happens, you hear a big roar. It's Godzilla again. He tackles him in the back. They go into the water. And then Kong surfaces from the water. He starts walking away. The credits begin to roll. Should I end it like that?
Hey, Dad, did you not know you just spoiled the whole...
Remember, this is off the cuff, so we can switch it. Do we want to go with the old school ending? As Kong's walking off? Then you hear Godzilla come out of the water. He drags Kong down, and then the credits roll.
When that actually happens?
Finn.
Also, basically,
No clear winner. And that's it. That's it. I know it was, it's sloppy. It's obviously none of that's going to happen, but, if hopefully the next one I do that I'm actually trying to write out and be a little bit more clear. There's going to be similarities, but the other one is not going to have a disguised Mechagodzilla. Horror movie ending. He pulls Kong down, roll credits.
horror movie.
Is that? I haven't seen War of the Gargantuans in a long time. Oh, there it is. It's working out the Phonica. Skronk. So when is Robzilla and Lenny joining in your story? Oh, no, they won't be in the story, man. Thanks for the dono. I appreciate it. $5 dono over on Twitch. Sounds pretty decent. Thank you. It got sloppy towards the end because, like I said, I'm doing it off the cuff. I'm just, the only thing I pulled off from were really some of the monster fights, mainly the Skull Island. I've always loved the idea of their first encounter being on Skull Island. So that's why, for some of the guys who've been here longer versus some of the guys who are new here, that's a very common theme in some of my post, King of the Monsters, Godzilla versus Kong, how I would do it, or what I would like to see type thing. Yes, Robzilla's back. Rob doesn't believe in clear winners. No, I just wanted to leave an opening. You know, there would have been another one if it was up to me. Yeah, Lenny would have had them listen to reason. Oh man, but I thank you guys for your patience. I'm firing my laser. So, but I like doing that. So I figured I didn't do any content today because, you know, it was a busy day. I was doing a lot. I was out most of the day. So I wanted to do something fun to kind of make up for that here on the stream. And then I'll just probably cut this and put it onto the channel. So, yeah, I know it's not, you know, everybody would do it differently. I know mine's was definitely got a little bit cheesy towards the middle and the end with the whole Mechagodzilla reveal and the Mothra twins singing and all that. But you're saying Kong is kind of the winner in your version? Well, again, this is what was off the cuff. So I wanted it to appear like an ending that we got in the old movie, but instead Godzilla resurfaces from the water and pulls Kong down. So I would call it a tie. Or it's ambiguous. You could easily assume that Godzilla won. He does have a bigger advantage in the water. So you could assume that from that point Godzilla probably won. But, you know, I want it to be ambiguous. Yeah, Simba shows up. Oh, I just can't wait to be king. New banner in the end credit scene. Yeah, brand new banner. I don't know. I think that ending would probably piss a lot of people off, to be honest. Because even though there's no clear loser, there's no clear winner. So it's like, oh no, not this again. End credit scene with Mecha King construction. Yeah. Yeah, you can't say either one of them lost. That's a good thing. I wouldn't, because that ending was just lazy to me. Kong was in rubble and gets charged up at the right moment. Kong was in rubble and gets charged up at the right moment. A tie fight after 60 years of waiting. I know. Well, you know me. I like to rustle some jimmies now and then. Are you late? Yeah, I mean, we've been streaming for a little over an hour, so I guess that would be, yeah. What's your favorite creature design next to Godzilla? It can be from any movie. That's a good question. I would say
$1. I would add Godzilla going thermonuclear and blasts the shut out of Kong and eats the flesh off him. He becomes a pile of bones and the fucking axe drops on the bones. Godzilla looks at the pile and tail whips the pile of bones and the axe all over. Bam.
Mechagodzilla 74 is probably my second favorite design, but I also like the design of Ghidorah from the Mothra movies. I love that design. Ah, okay. They use the remains of Kong's family and boom, Mecha Kong is born. Yeah. I feel like Kong was getting pummeled most of the time. Yeah. I mean, I am a Godzilla fan. I haven't hid that. What do you think? I mean, I think in my assessment of things, I've been fair, but this is how I would do it. I, meaning I'm a Godzilla fan, and to be fair, I still didn't make a definitive winner. So you can't really complain that much. You got a fair ending from a clearly made it very clear that I'm a Godzilla fan and that I'm Team Godzilla. Hi. Go to bed? Okay. Mwah, love you. I want to see Godzilla use more kicks and knee strikes. I mean, yeah. Kicks? Oof. How about when the King Ghidorah head is revealed, the son of Serizawa gets the energy from Mothra and the power to Mechagodzilla, and this causes Ghidorah to regrow his body and become Mecha King Ghidorah. That's pretty good.
All of Monarch watches the fight ended ambiguously with no clear winner. The twins are relieved that the egg has been recovered, but something is wrong. They don't feel Mothra inside the egg, but something else. The egg hatches out.
Batra? Batra, is that who it is? Hey Rob, will we get something similar to the tree down Godzilla's throat? I think we'll get something along those lines. How about you guys come up with the end credit scene?
Warner Brothers tipped $3.33, reveals a baby Godzilla inside the egg instead. Then the movie ends.
How about a baby Godzilla Mothra hybrid? That'd be pretty nasty. Let me move this over here so I'm not looking away. Gotta give some love to Twitch. End credit, we see Minya cheeks. Zillions show up. Okay. End credit scene teases Gamera. Oh boy. Hey Rob, it's Bobby. I changed my name because I'm starting to make videos, but we'll watch your videos still. Oh, well, thank you, Bobby. Bobby as in Bobby Reynolds? Mothzilla, there you go. Godzilla and Kong fuse together in the end credit scene. End credit scene. Jonah gets the remain of Mechagodzilla and pulls out blueprints for his ultimate creation, Jet Jaguar. The end credit design could be foreshadowing Gigan. I love Gigan. You can put that in the end credits. You could see like Gigan, and then there's a guy riding on top of him with a sign that says I love Gigan. We see floral patterns that greatly signify Biollante. Okay. There was supposed to be a Mecha Mothra a long time ago, yeah. I was here on your other stream. Well, there's another Bobby named Bobby Reynolds, so I thought maybe you were him. So which Bobby were you? Rob, what happens if your theory about the fake Godzilla is flipped in Godzilla vs. Kong, so the light blue is the real Godzilla and dark color is Mecha G? I've actually heard some people say that. They think it's not the light blue. They think the darker blue is Mechagodzilla, but we'll see. I mean, it's probably not going to happen either way, but that would be interesting. Kongzilla becomes canon, yeah. Anguirus end credit scene? I don't think he's worthy of an end credit scene. Bobzilla versus Mothzilla. End credit scene, Kong wakes up scared as shit. Oh, here we go. End credit scene.
End credit scene tipped $1. We see Lenny looking at a kinky Doro egg, listening to some jazzy music. As he looks at the TV screen with Godzilla roaring, Lenny said soon motherfucker, soon as the camera pans into the kinky Doro egg as it cracks.
Oh my god. My idea for the end credit scene, we get a night shot of Area 51. We slowly pan in, going through the facility, and enter a dark room, and a light turns on and reveals Kinky Dora in bondage. Oh no! Oh no! Cthulhu end credit scene? Boy, you guys are going crazy. A big banner after credits, and it says, damn, there, it then goes blank. Kong versus Anguirus, who wins? Kong would win that. I don't even think Godzilla fans could deny that. An end credit scene, you see the oxygen destroyer used near Godzilla and Kong. Oh, so they use it a second time. Okay, all right. Bacon end credit scene after Super Godzilla revealed. You just hear Anguirus's roar. It's underwhelming. End credit scene reveals Gabra, and you hear his annoying roar for all people to meme the shit out of him. Bagan confirmed. Yeah, end credit. Another Kong will wake up on Skull Island like Godzilla did in the Versus Sea Monster movie. Wow. End credit. Suck it. Iron Giant end credit. I don't think Godzilla could beat Cthulhu. It'd be cool. Depends what version of Cthulhu. If you're talking about the original H.P. Lovecraft, Cthulhu doesn't stand a chance. If you believe the overpowered Cthulhu that everybody has gotten horny over by making him up for the last 30 or 40 years, then yeah, that Cthulhu should win. End credit, you see a mass production of oxygen destroyers. Oh boy. We see Space Godzilla entering our solar system. How? Ultraman shows up and cuffs Godzilla and Kong. I like that one. That's good. You hear the Son of Godzilla theme. Oh, Jesus, Albert, come on. Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Ishiro and Vin Diesel as Minya. Oh, Jesus. End credit scene, Raid Shadow Legends. The end credit scene is really the trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong. Yeah. End credits, it was a dream and the fight never happened. There you go. End credit would be lots of mutated crabs where the oxygen destroyer went off. Godzilla and Kong get married. Pacific Rim or Gamera. End credit scene. Okay. Apex uses Kong's dead body to build Mechanicon. Okay. Zilla comes out of the ocean. How would they do Space Godzilla? Godzilla's never been to space. Reboot E.T. with Manila.
Super chatted $5. Hi, Robert. I'm going to leak the end credit scene. It will be me holding a sign saying "Told you" as I flip everyone off.
It sounds about right. And the end credit is actually a leak for part 2 of Godzilla vs. Kong. There you go. All right, not bad. A lot of memeage, but I like memeage. Memeage is good. I just had an idea of a brutal scene. Kong runs up to Godzilla, jumps on his head, and falls back and gets stabbed by Godzilla's dorsal plates. Wow, that's pretty interesting. Godzilla can beat Kong in a fight. He just has to call the FBI on Kong for being a creep. Okay. And credits, the Mothra twins sing at Bryan Cranston's grave, and he pops up, does Weekend at Bernie's Walk, saying "Long live the king." No, that's good. I like that one. That one I think we're gonna go with that one. Let's sing the Mothra song and wake up Bryan Cranston. He starts walking like this. That was good. They need to make a Godzilla movie where Minya gets lost in New York and Godzilla has to find him based on tracking past credit card hotel bills. Oh, man. What do you think can put up a fight against Methuselah? Man, I don't know. We haven't even seen Methuselah fight. So, I mean, based on that, I would say pretty much anyone in the Tohoverse could kick his ass. Kong gets apprehended by FBI for touching a little girl. Ooh. Kong the pedo. Godzilla wins and Kong protesters saying demand a recount. Oh, God. Old ass hag. Which one was Methuselah? The spider one with the tentacles coming out the mouth? Was that Methuselah? No, that was Scylla. Methuselah is like I think that's the mountain one. The mountain one. Kong versus Behemoth, who wins? I think Kong wins that. Pedozilla? I don't know. Yeah, the walking mountain. There's a lot of Titans we haven't seen because what we've seen Skyla or Skilla. Obviously, we've seen Behemoth, we've seen Methuselah. I think that's really it, right? There's like, what is it, like 14 others, or rather 12 other ones we haven't seen yet? Or not 12, 11. How does my wife feel about my YouTube career? And she's still here, right? That's all that matters. This isn't a career, though. This is a hobby. Yeah, no, it would be foolish to try and take YouTube as a career. That's not something I plan on doing anytime soon. At all, for that matter. But it's something I've done for a while. It's a lot of fun. Say no to the Sim Chimp. Even more, Doherty confirmed that Muto wasn't part of the 17, so even more woke up. Wow. Jesuszilla, Allahzilla, and Holy Ghostzilla. And in end credits, it was actually Mecha Kong versus Mechagodzilla. Oh. There you go, Mecha Millie Bobby Brown. Plebs be like monkey. End credits is Mickey Segura's Lazy Eye. Oh boy. Shin Godzilla versus Legendary Godzilla, who wins? Well, based on Shin Godzilla, I mean, if anyone gets caught with his atomic breath, they're dead. But every time I talk about a Shin Godzilla battle, the Shin pretty much always loses. Simply because if you manage to avoid his breath the first time, he goes catatonic. And basically you can just sit there and pepper the shit out of him. So, I don't think Shin Godzilla was meant to be a versus monster. Based on his movement and based on his atomic breath and what happens to him after the fact. Rodan gets a girlfriend and they make a nest on Mount Fuji. There you go. At the end credit, we hear Kumanga's roar. Ah. I mean, how big of a... I mean... Like, that doesn't sound like a big climactic end credit. Like, would that actually excite you? Honestly. Would you get excited if you heard that at the end of the movie and the end credits? I don't know. It just doesn't make the hair stand up. Yeah, I didn't really get to the Hollow Oath involved, did I? Oh, that was a oversight on my part. Second end credit scene, we hear Destroyer roar playing at the end credit scene. How about Titanosaurus roar for the end credits? Yeah. People are just going to run out the fucking theater so they don't have to hear that shit again. Godzilla attacks Rodan and accidentally falls in a volcano. Oh, that'll bring tears to my eye. Are you excited for the new Pacific Rim anime? I'm interested. I was a little bit like on the fence about it. Like when I first saw like screenshots and stuff. Then they had that short trailer. It was like a week ago. And I was like, But after the one I saw today, I'm like, okay, this could be interesting. So I don't want to say I'm not excited, but I'm definitely not like as excited as I would be for, like maybe something else. But I'm definitely going to watch it. Godzilla gets Kong pregnant. If we saw her Destroyer, I would mark it. I would mark the fuck out, to be honest. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people would. Or hear me out, there could just be not a post-credit scene. Yeah, true too. End credit, we go to the Hollow Earth, and you see a huge shadow fly and a loud roar. Kaiju fans will know it's Destroyer. Origins is different. He will come from the deep Hollow Earth. Okay, so you have Destroyer being like the main Hollow Earth creature that's rising up. Yeah, Singular Point's going to be interesting to watch. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of comedy elements in that show. Oh crap! I forgot this was live. Yeah, what did you think it was? As a monster, Kong is just boring and unimaginative. No, I think that's pretty unfair. Kong is definitely not a boring monster, not at all. If anything, he kind of because of his connection with like people, he tends to give more on screen than like Godzilla does for sure. Oh, I see. Yeah, I did see the Pacific Rim trailer. I was busy drawing a warbat. Oh, okay. Do you see any of the main human characters dying in the movie? Probably. I just hope it's not unceremonious like Vivian Graham. She just was running out of the plane and just got jacked up by Kevin. What if Godzilla loses? Well, we're going to have a lot of fun on this channel. Because there's going to be a lot of pissed off Godzilla fans. No, we're not doing nukes tonight. Credit scene, we see Apex getting Muto DNA and fusing it with Rose DNA to create Biollante. Okay. You really timed them out for asking that question? That's kind of fucked up, but all right. I'm not against it. New Playmates toys got revealed like 30 minutes ago. It looks like spikes are fucked. Really? Oh, let's see. Oh, there it is, yeah. All right, we'll take a look at it right now. Whoa! Yeah, they are. Oh, I don't know. Well, let me see. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they definitely look like there's something going on with them that's not right. Here, we'll take a look. We'll show it here. Although I'm sure most of you guys seen it already, but we'll pull it up real quick. So, can you guys see that? I can zoom it in a little bit. Actually, you know what? I got a better idea. Let me just save the picture and I'll zoom in. We'll zoom in. All right, let's see this. All right, let's take a look-see. Zoom in. Oh, yeah. Oh, they're broken off all right. Look at down here. This one's chipped. That one's chipped. This one's chipped off. This one looks chipped. That's the big center one is completely gone. Yeah, looks like he's taking some dorsal plate damage. Yeah. Well, I mean, these are Playmate toys, so. Battle Roar. Blockbuster movie, Godzilla vs. Kong. What this? That's the new Playmate figures, Battle Roar Godzilla. But this Godzilla's dorsal plates are chipped off. That's got to be a toy gimmick? No, why would they chip off his plates? Where's the gimmick there? The gimmick is that it roars. His spine's lost those iconic shapes, yeah. Looks gay now? Well, of course he looks gay. He's been stripped of his manhood by getting his plates ripped off by Kong. Do you think there's gargantuans roaring in credit scene of Godzilla vs. Kong? No. No, I don't think so. Yeah, you can't see it in the money shot. But it's not as obvious as it is here. Like you can literally see like this one right here is like literally chipped off. And the middle one is completely gone. Like you don't even see the big center one. What's going to be interesting to see, because like if in the movie if he bleeds when that happens. But what's sad is that if you look at the Kong one, let me put up the Kong's just got like a big bruise on his chest. That's it. It's like they said like, oh yeah, Kong, no, he'll just take a nice little, you know. Let me see here. That's the there's two of these. Battle Roar. No, they're the same one. It's just different, not different color, just different lighting. I'll pull them all up. Let's save that one, and then let's save the Kong one. We'll look at the Kong one. Okay. All right, let's pull this up. We'll zoom in. This is the other one that looks. This one's a little. It looks a little darker, but it's because of the lighting. But yeah, you can see it. Definitely smaller dorsal plates. Then we have. Yeah, you gotta attach the tail. Huh. Good. It looks, and there's more than one too. There's like 3 or 4 of them that are chipped. Let's grab the. Let's look at the Kong one. Hold on here. Minimize that. Oh, turn that one. Where's the Kong one? Here's the Kong one. Pull that up. Meanwhile, Kong looks so stupid. But look at it, like, oh, he's got like a little scratch on his chest. That's it. Time to cancel my delivery. Monkey flip. It's more electronic with a rubber skin. The corner pick. I know, right here. Durf Kong. Yeah, they messed up Kong pretty bad. It's King Kong. The cardboard teeth. I mean, look, guys, it's H4 plus, you know? I mean, it's not like, you know, it's not like anyone here is going to buy this stuff. Just kidding. Just kidding. How they did your boy dirty? Man lives in the sunlit world of what he believes to be reality, but there is unseen by most an underworld, a place just as real but not as brightly lit. The kinky verse. Oh, Scumdog putting a little poetry to the kinky verse. I like it. God, those toys look like ass. I know. I've said that a lot, and I usually get hammered for it. But not hammered, but I get strong resistance. But you know, they're kids' toys. They're 4 years old. You know, I mean, come on, no sane adult's gonna buy this shit. Unless they're buying it for their kid, you know? Just kidding, guys. Just kidding, guys. This I know people who have bought them already or are going to. So I'm fucking with them a little bit. The Kong one? Yeah, it's right here. Why were some of the Godzillas? Because I think it's a light up in the center. Even 4-year-olds would hate it. If his spines are broken, then his atomic breath would probably be unstable. Nah, that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. I just can't with these Playmates figures. I know. Again, I know. Hey, look, I know some of the people in our circle are going to buy these. They're very enthusiastic about it, and I get it. You know, they're collectors. I'm not a collector, so I can freely criticize them. You know, I have 2 figures back there, and that's it. Those are my 2 primaries. That's it. No more, no less. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest. You know, I've defended Playmates more than anyone else, but that Kong does not look great. Don't mind the Godzilla though. Yeah, I think they all look like shit, to be honest. But no, I hear you. You know, I mean, my son has some of them, so I've seen them front and center, and they look like ass. Yeah, that's true. You know, that's a good point. Actually, animated. I'm not sure if that's what you were referring to, but you know, what if Kong looks like this in the movie? Like he gets so fucked up, he's like, "Gah!" You know, you know, what if he's just like he gets so like wrecked at some point in the movie? He's like, "Gah!" Oh my God. Could happen. Maybe they oh, come on, WTF. You really got to do that? See, we're all having fun and you just got to come in and fuck it up. Yeah, Godzilla hits him so hard he goes full retard. Kong looks inbred, which is weird considering he wouldn't really have an opportunity for that. So what happened? Yeah, Godzilla sat on his face. That's what happened. Yeah, I know. The toy better make that sound effect. Oh, that... Kong, I think Kong has become the new Kevin based on this toy. Maybe he's the one that gets the Ghidorah brain. Maybe he eats it and he gets like a mad cow disease effect where he... You know? Derpy Kong, derpy monkey. Oh man. Godzilla vs. Kong. Can I still become a member with Patreon? Card isn't working on Google. No, I've done cancel Patreon. D-Man debate already happened. Yeah, you missed it. Who asked about that? Are we still asking about? Jesus Christ, really? There we go. There we go. D-Man did respond, okay? For those who are late to the party. The Kong toy is a reference to the 62 Kong design. It's not a bad reference. It looks derpy as shit.
Kong tip $1.
Uh-oh.
Fuck did you say, you little shit?
Make Kong derp again.
Big Bad Wolf super chatted $2. Hashtag make Kong derpy again.
Man, it's too bad, Mike. It would have been cool if you signed up, because every time somebody signs up, a cool little Godzilla shows up, breathes atomic breath. Yeah, that's too bad. I got notified late. I wish I could watch it on replay. Yeah, I haven't edited it. I've had a busy week. My kids are preparing to go back to school. So I haven't done much content this week. I've only done 5 videos? And I didn't do any today. So, I didn't even do my WandaVision review. Yeah, I pretty much finished at 5 minutes after 9. Went for 45 minutes. I don't know. You'd have to check. What are my thoughts on today's WandaVision episode? Well, without spoiling it, I wasn't as surprised as a lot of other people, because I knew the guy was casted for the show 3-4 weeks ago. So to me, that seemed like the obvious choice. That's why I'm kind of thinking that it's not the big surprise people are waiting for. I think the big surprise people are waiting for is going to be at the end of the season. But I could be wrong. Maybe that was their big surprise. I sure didn't get any Luke Skywalker effects from it, because people were like, oh, it's going to be on Luke Skywalker level. And I saw it. I'm like, nope, don't feel like Luke Skywalker. Again, I'm not saying it was bad. It was great. But I think because I knew he was on the show already, it just kind of it didn't have the same effect on me. When I saw him, I wasn't surprised because I knew he was on the show. Yeah, I think so too, Mike. I think this was a decoy. I don't I was surprised to see how many people were shocked, Because I'm like, didn't people know this dude was cast? It was not hidden. Yeah, no, it was still awesome. Yeah, definitely. You hope Godzilla Singular Point is decent, not holding my breath. I think it'll be better than the other Godzilla anime. And maybe that's not saying a lot, but yeah, he was cast, dude. I saw like 3 weeks ago. I looked up the show and the cast, and boom, there he was right there. I was like, oh wow, look at that. And right there, and I knew. I was like, okay, well, I guess that's happening. Well, you just gave away everything, Mike, by saying that name, because anyone who's comic savvy knows who Magneto's kids are, and by that sentence, you just spoiled it. So, good job, dickhead. Just when I'm having a decent conversation with Mike, he screws it up by not having the sense to be a little bit more, discreet. Ass. You seen Godzilla vs. Kong meme by Large Trap? It's funny. Something tells me I've seen this, but like, after a while, people keep asking, and it's like, okay, I get it. You want me to see it, All right, hold on a minute, because I don't. Yeah, I've seen this one. Alex Sawyer, I don't want to know either, yeah. You have devastating news. Godzilla dies. Oh, that is devastating. I'm telling you. Wow. How can I live on if he dies? Because like he hasn't died before. I mean, if you're gonna look, the same rule applies if you're gonna make a joke. You gotta eat your Wheaties. Okay? Where's my button here? God, this one gotta bring back the old school here. I forgot I rearranged all this.
$3.33. There is another picture of the Godzilla toy that is a little clearer that shows Godzilla's large dorsal plate is actually behind the Try Me label.
Okay. I mean, I guess I missed it. Oh, God. Oh, you know what? That's okay. I know where it is. I don't care how long it takes me to play it. I'm going to play it because that attempt at a funny deserves this. Yep, it does. There it goes.
Just a bit outside.
There you go. Oh, Panda Bear. Your panda pet misses you, but he might get jealous of your Alaskan Malamute. Panda wants a name as well. Oh, poor Panda. Yeah, I know. My puppy that we're getting in a couple of weeks. She's still a newborn. We've narrowed it down to 4 names, and I got more updated pictures of her. So like, she looks a little bit older. She's only like 2 weeks old now. But here's one where you can see her. She looks pretty big in this picture. She's gotten pretty big already. And there she is. Zoom in a little bit. There we go. There she is. Ears are starting to stand up a little bit. Is one of the 4 Martha? No, I shut that down real quick. Yeah, some of the members of the channel saw that behind the scenes video where my son wanted to name it a couple of things, and my reaction was pretty crazy. But yeah, she's adorable. I can't wait to get her. And then the best part is Not only will my kids come and interrupt my stream, but so will my dog. Probably shit on the carpet right next to me while I'm streaming, and I'd have to pause the stream and take her out for a poopsie. No, we haven't. We got time. We're not getting her. She's not going to arrive till the end of March. She has to be, they can only be given to the owners after 8 weeks because they need to feed off the mom. They need their shots. They need to socialize a little bit. And yeah. And then after 8 weeks, you can take them. There's going to be a lot of footage of her. I can guarantee both members and on the channel and all, you know. Oopsie, puppy did a poopsie. That's right. Yeah, imagine with all the times I say Godzilla on stream.
Tyler Brown tipped $1. What breed?
Alaskan Malamute. Imagine as many times as I say Godzilla on stream, it becomes synonymous with her taking a dump. So every time I say Godzilla, she squats and just drops a huge log. Oh my God. Someone will stop spamming. Who's spamming? End credit scene, Ghidorah regenerates through the body of Mechagodzilla, creating a monsterverse version of Mecha King Ghidorah. Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't see anyone spamming. Yeah, she's cute. I got another picture. I got tons of pictures of her, actually, because the breeder just sent me a bunch more. Here's a nice close-up of her with her eyes open. This one. Zoom in on this one a little bit. Look at that. Look at that Poonam. Look at that face. I think that was a spammer. I don't know. The Venom symbiote. How much did you pay for her? So total will be $1,400. You need to boop that little nose. Oh yeah, I most definitely will. Gorosaurus. Don't let it dig through the garbage. No, I know how to handle this breed. This is my third one. I had two before. I still got pictures of them. Well, one was a Malamute. The other one was a Malamute Husky mix. He was a pain in the ass, but I'll show you pictures of them. Just give me a second while I pull them up here, because I still got pictures of them. Oh, you kidding? Not only am I going to make it howl, I'm going to encourage it. Gotta go way back. Way back. Yeah, I love the breed. They're super friendly. They're good dogs. They're good with kids. They're really smart. So here was my other girl. She was my all white Alaskan Malamute. This was like back in 2008. You can hardly see it's a small picture, but that was my my all white Alaskan Malamute back in 2008. Beautiful girl. Yeah, I would say they're a little bit less vocal than Huskies. Huskies are a lot to deal with. Malamutes, they're a little bit more docile. You know what I mean? Because Huskies will trample all over you if you let them. Malamutes require a little bit more discipline, but they won't disrespect you as badly as a Husky will. A Husky will literally just beat, like if the Husky doesn't respect you, you're in trouble. If a Malamute doesn't respect you, she'll just look at you when you say commands like, I don't feel like it. But a Husky will be like, oh, I can get over on you? All right, watch this. Let me see if I got a better picture. And then this was my, this was the Malamute Husky breed that we had. I should say. It was a boy. Brown, white, one hazel eye and one, well, you can see the color. One blue eye, one hazel eye. So yeah, that she was a great dog. She was awesome. She was she was just great. And this is them playing. Oh, that's too small. You can't see that. And they were just good dogs. They're overall just great. They're good dogs. I love the breed. You know, it's a lot to deal with the hair. So what I used to do with my, I used to take them to the breeder every 2 weeks to keep the hair in control. Because if you let them grow it out, forget it. You're going to have hair all over the fucking place. It's going to be ridiculous. But I used to keep her groomed. You know, plus they're cold weather dogs. Now, it's not a big deal because they have, their undercoat is insulated, so it kind of works both ways. So it can keep them cool just as much as it can keep them warm. But trimming their hair is not too bad. You just can't trim it too short because it's kind of a pride thing for them. So if you trim it too short, they will get depressed. So you have to keep it at a certain length. But yeah, they will get depressed if you cut it too short. They'll, you know, like, this was her as a puppy when I got her. Here's her as a puppy. Very cute. You see here the same thing with the spotted nose. And this is when she was about 10 weeks old. So I had gotten her from Michigan. She flew in at 8 weeks. I picked her up at the airport. And this was like her first 2 weeks with us. Yeah, it's kind of like a crown. Rob, who do you like more, Gorosaurus or Godzillasaurus? Honestly, I don't like either one. Like, I don't care for either one. Like, Gorosaurus is, like, not that I hate them. Like, they're cool, but, like, they just don't pop up in the brain. Like, if you had not mentioned Godzillasaurus, I probably wouldn't have remembered the fact that he was in the Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. And Gorosaurus, all I think about when I think of him is the drop kick to King Ghidorah's back and destroy all monsters. That's it. I just, you know, I don't really care for either one. Like, it's not a, you know, I have my favorites. I have ones I don't like, and then I have ones I just don't care about. But Godzillasaurus is Godzilla. Yeah, I know that. So because he's Godzilla, I'm supposed to like him? I didn't like the first two forms of Shin Gojira. But I like Shin Gojira. But his first two forms, he looks absolutely ridiculous. Whenever you think about Gorosaurus, you think about Men in Black. Very beautiful dogs. Looking forward to seeing your dog on stream when the time comes. Yeah. Yep. She's going to be a handful. First 6 weeks, you know, training and all that. She's going to have accidents. I'll be cleaning up shit. It'll be great. You know? They're going to have it. And then walking them late, you know, because those first, like, 2 months you have them, they're like babies. You know, they're not, you know, it takes about a good 2 months to get them acclimated and them start holding it. The important thing is that she gets the idea, like she knows right away how to go outside. And that's going to be tough too, because, you know, when a dog has an accident in the house and you're trying to train them, you're not supposed to react, because when they go outside, you're like, oh, you know, good boy, good girl. And you encourage them, you kind of show. But if you react inside, even if it's a negative reaction, like, no, they still take that as some sort of reaction. So they get confused. They don't know, like, okay, where am I going here? So that's going to be tough because my kids are going to react. And I've already told them, I said, look, if they have an accident in the house, you got to pretend like nothing's happening. It's going to be hard. It's going to stink. You're going to want to vomit. Don't react. That way she knows right away, okay, when I do this here, I'm not getting that reinforcement that I like. Rob, Gabra or Kumanga 67? Is there a third option, like a gun? Yeah, I mean, this is, I've had a lot of dogs. I've trained a lot of dogs. So, you know, this is not going to be like a new experiment for me. I'm pretty well crafted at this. And training a Malamute is not easy. They're one of the toughest dogs to train. Not because they're not smart, but because they're very proud. So that's why I get a female. They're a little bit easier. Males are very alpha, and they're very, you know, they're tougher to train. I don't got the patience I don't have the time for that level of patience. Females are a little bit more They're a little easier to train. Your dream dog is a Border Collie or a Saint Bernard? Yeah. Do you think Toho will make more original monsters when they go back to making Godzilla movies, or go back to using the same 5 or 6 monsters? I think they'll do a little bit of both. You know what I would do if I was Toho? I would make a Godzilla movie or a movie that introduces some of the older monsters, and then have a new monster come in that kills that older monsters, kind of like passing the torch, and then Godzilla's got to deal with that new one. You know, nothing wrong with triggering some of the Toho purists by killing some of their favorite villains off by a new monster. Rob, have you seen the new Playmates Roaring Godzilla and Roaring Kong? This is why you should never be late to a stream. Like, we literally just looked at it. You must have just walked in. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Yep. And it's funny that he just walked in because, you know, it's pretty much about that time. Yes, yes.
The Dark Apex super chatted $5. If the monsters continues, do you think they could bring in the Ready Player One Mechagodzilla design? If they rebuild him?
I mean, they could, but why would you? If the MonsterVerse continues after this movie, I don't see where you bring back Mechagodzilla. I think you have a better chance of seeing Mecha King Ghidorah than you do a second Mechagodzilla. So yeah, I mean, that's just my opinion. But I don't know if they would change, if they brought him back, I don't know if they would necessarily change his design. But we don't even know what he's, I mean, we got the toy, but you've seen the Playmates toys. Those shits aren't movie accurate. So God knows what he's going to look like in the movie. He could look 10 times better. And the Funko Pop, Jesus Christ, I hope he doesn't look like that. The Rodan beak, oof, yeah. Rob, when is the Rob vs. D-Man happening? Nice try. Weren't you here for it? Look, I know there's like 200, like 150, 200 people here at a time now, but I remember. You were here last week. Come on. Cut the shit, okay? All right. It was fun tonight. I want to thank you guys for coming through. We'll be back tomorrow night. No, some of them are just memeing. Some of them are just being trolls. It's all good. I like that. All right. Well, look, guys, it was a lot of fun. Thank you for patiently listening to my crazy story. So, good stuff. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night. We can do some Q&A or do some general chit chat, you know, on the movie or whatever you guys want to talk about. You know, thank you for streaming. Always an enjoyable time. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate it. Thank you, Michael, even though you're a pain in the ass. Thank you, Twitch. All 5 of you. All right, you guys have a great rest of the night. I'll see some of you tomorrow night. Hopefully you guys come back. And yeah, man, we'll keep doing it up until this movie comes out. Then it's really going to kick into gear. So, yeah. All right, guys, have a good one. You guys stay safe. And I'll see you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Good night.
together.